Folks, today I've got a wee lick from the GOAT himself, one Mr. Dennis Chambers. He of John Scofield, John McLaughlin, Santana, and many others. And if you're a Dennis stan, if you're a true believer, you probably know the DVD Serious Moves, now available on YouTube. And many of us are familiar with Dennis's oeuvre, songs like Trim and Protocol, blistering singles, and Up Crashes. But the true fans also know Dennis wasn't just about show. He was also about serious pocket, hence his follow-up DVD, In the Pocket, and Subtleties. In fact, in my humble opinion, it's precisely because of his monstrous chops that Dennis didn't get enough credit for all the subtle little textural things that really elevated the music. And it's one of those things we're going to talk about in today's video. And it might be the easiest Dennis lick. The easiest Dennis motif to learn. And it's also super useful in a lot of contexts. But when I show you what it is, you're going to want to slap your forehead, because it's like the second or third thing you ever learned on drums. In the back room of Anthony's guitar shop on East Main, where somebody had stapled shag rug to the doors for soundproofing, and those same rugs had subsequently absorbed around 27 years of cigarette smoke. But I digress. Here's the lick in context on the chorus of a Scofield song called Make Me, which appears on the album Blue Matter, and which Chambers features at the end of Serious Moves. Mira. Sounds pretty cool, right? What if I told you the main component is just right, right, left, left? The old daddy mammy. It's true. I'll play it on the kit, then simplify it down. So today on the channel, we've got a short one for you guys, a shorty. We'll show you how Dennis used this super simple sticking from those drum lessons, those many years ago, where you weren't allowed to play the drums without the oven sound off mutes, so you didn't disturb the guitar lesson next door. But that didn't matter because you weren't allowed to touch the kit until you did 2 years of daddy mammy on the pad. Then we'll talk about how to apply this to a couple of other grooves. And the whole thing will be transcribed for you for free download at the link below the player. I'm Nate, and people call me the 80/20 drummer, and I'm telling you to stay tuned. Chapter 1. How did Dennis get there? So we have right, right, left, left. And say we're playing a slow funk groove like Make Me. Then it's time for the chorus. We'll move the right hand over to the ride cymbal like so many choruses. We could just play eighth notes on the bow with the cymbal. Or on the bell. We could do a 1 and a 2 and a with the downbeats on the bell. That sounds hip. We could do a 1 E and 2 E and with the 8th offbeats on the bell, etc. But Dennis uses this accent pattern. Let's listen. He's hitting something like 1 E and that 2 and 3 and, which is way hipper. You might be like, well, where's the double? Just you wait. Because going into that 3 and is time for a wee little bit of double stroke. Right, right, left, left, bell. Right, right, left, left, bell. Here's the complete pattern, which is of course simplified and looped a little from the beat where Dennis was improvising and flowing. Now, let's talk about the rest of the pattern, around the double. How do we make this feel natural on the kit, so it's not just some transcription you memorize? Like the transcription available for free download when you click the link below the player and tell us where to send it, which hopefully you'll use as a springboard to start making your own ideas. Let's move both hands to the snare drum. And I'm going to make a loop where I land with the right hand accent on the of 1 and 3 and on the and of 2 and 4. If I play the hats with it, that's kind of a groovy beat right there. Now I'll move one hand to the ride cymbal and catch only the accent on the bell, but leave everything else where it was. You can also play the kick drum on 1 and 3, and you get this Caribbean sounding thing. But this is just a 2-beat pattern. If we want to make it a 4-beat, we can add a 3 and to give it kind of a clave. By the way, to fill the 4th unaccented beat, we can just play a left-hand lead paradiddle. Now let's add in our double, leading up to the and of 3. Getting funkier, right? Now let's add in the snare backbeat, which should be easy because we don't have to change the sticking at all. But let's give this a couple minutes to get comfy. Now, let's pause. We have kind of a bell clave, and isn't this all way more interesting than just half notes on the bell? I actually made a video about this a little while ago. I'm obsessed with syncopated rhythms in places you wouldn't expect them. These I call bell claves. And to get an idea of why Dennis thought of this, check out the bass line. You've got the melody on the downbeats, but the bass line punctuating the 3 E and ah, so Dennis played kind of a counter rhythm to that. The result is these 3 layers that interlink, but where nobody's playing exactly the same thing as anybody else. Okay, next level with this stuff. Chapter 2, Make Me Make Sense. Sorry, couldn't resist. So let's now look at some of the extra things Dennis is employing to make this sound so cool. First is the placement of the kick drum. What if instead of playing only on the downbeats, you caught a little of the bass line? And finally, the pièce de résistance, moving the left hand to the hats. Try it like this. Then you have opening the hats as a musical option too. Wow, that was a pretty quick chapter 2. Of course, we're just scratching the surface of what this little embellishment can do. Before I leave, let me show you 2 more classic but hip ones. The first is kind of a Steve Gaddish one. Let's play a little modified backbeat funk. We can do the right, right, left, left before the downbeat and before beat 3, like we're doing a little march on the snare. Except we move the rights to the hats. Pretty much any straight funk beat in which you could do a drag for embellishment, you can add this right, right, left, left. But the real mind blower is if you're doing triplet shuffles, like Porcaro or Purdy beats. Let's play a basic Porcaro Purdy thing. Then just experiment with where to throw that right, right, left, left in. It sounds nice leading up to the downbeat, but check this. If we play any bass drum offbeats as part of the shuffle, it also sounds cool as a pickup to them, regardless of what part of the beat it's on. If we want to do a chambers thing on the ride cymbal, we can move the right hand to the ride and play quarters on the bell except where we want to throw a right, right, left, left in. Then, in those cases, we can play the third triplet. Move the left hand to the hats, and that's how you get the gig! Well, that's it. That's the lesson. Kind of a short one, right guys? Be that as it may, I hope you enjoyed it. And quick reminder that you can grab the free transcription by clicking the link below the player and telling us where to send it on the next page. Dudes, it's been real, always enjoy these. See you again real soon in another Lesson of the Week. Hopefully that's where we got the gig. We did! We got the gig! And farewell for another week.